don't think that's quite all there was to it. You want to know whether the Earth is going to be able to survive life for...
Or whether current life with humankind as we are, whether we would continue to survive the way we have.
That I have to admit that I cannot answer, in the sense that I really don't know, but I think we need to look at the fact that human life is fairly recent on the Earth, like millions of years only. And life on the continents is only 500 million years old. There was none at all before that. It was only in the oceans. And if you say that humans, or beings like humans, have existed on the Earth for how long, the answer would have to be not more than, say, 10 million years. 10 million years. We've evolved in 10 million years. To ask what's going to happen in 1,000 million years or 5,000 million years, which you are asking, if you ask what happens to the end of the Earth, then we've got very little idea about how life will evolve in that time. So will humans exist on the Earth in 4 billion years' time? I haven't any idea. But one thing's for sure, we have evolved so fast that that is an enormous time compared with the time we've taken to develop from basically very simple organic products.
Cool. So yeah, that was a really good answer. So our last question, our last bonus question was, it's a hot topic now on our social media. Can we reverse climate change and at what cost to current life?
I think, let me come to the question of reversing climate change, meaning let me substitute the word global warming and say that the global warming effect of carbon dioxide from fossil fuel burning is something which we've caused in the last couple of 100 years. What happens to that carbon dioxide? As I've already explained, it stays there in the atmosphere and ocean for at least 1 million years. So we're not going to be able to avoid that much global warming in less than several million years without withdrawing the carbon dioxide. Now, it's going to be withdrawn slowly on its own anyway by solution in the oceans. But the oceans have got a very limited capacity to absorb it. The oceans hold much more carbon dioxide than the atmosphere, but even so, the abundance of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, in equilibrium with the oceans, will still have been increased relative to the pre-industrial era. And so the global warming which accompanies that will persist. Now, can we reverse it? Only by capturing carbon dioxide. But it will not be as bad all the time as it could be if we simply burn all the fossil fuel and wait for it to have its maximum effect, because the oceans are going to slowly absorb some, and it will be redistributed and be less concentrated than it will if we just burn all the fossil fuel quickly. What it means is, in terms of the next ice age, it has been said, and I'm not responsible for saying this, but you can take it as a typical expectation. The next ice age has already been prevented by global warming.
Cool. So we've merely delayed the next ice age.
Well, yes, that's right. How much delay? Certainly millions of years.
Do you think that upsets the natural cycle then, since ice ages seem to happen in a regular interval? Are we upsetting something?
No, we're moderating it. The ice ages are caused by astronomical effects. The ice ages are not caused by carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide is really a consequence which will amplify the effect. It will cause global warming in addition to the natural warming. But the orbital effects, the fact that the orbit of the Earth is elliptical, the fact that it is changing its orientation all the time, these are the Milankovitch cycles of astronomy, and there are several well-known cycles. A strong one is 20,000 years, another one at 40,000 years. The third one, the important one with ice ages, is 100,000 years. And so we have a 100,000 year cycle of ice ages, or have had for the last 500,000 years, and that will continue. But the global warming which we've caused by burning fossil fuel will be superimposed, so that the warmer periods of the interglacials will be warmer still, and the ice age peaks will be less severe. So we're superimposing something on an effect which occurs anyway.
Oh, cool. So a common question related to climate change and what you've just described is that some have observed that for some places like Australia, your hot summers are becoming even hotter, while cold seasons like winter are becoming even colder. But in places like, say, Singapore, which is closer to the equator, we are not exactly going colder, just really hot and with a lot of rain. So the difficulty is understanding, is it actually affecting the climate on a larger, longer term, which is what climate is, or just weather on a shorter term? So there is that need to understand the difference that most people can't grasp.
Climate, of course, is the sort of underlying variation in what you see in local observations as weather. Now, the effect of global warming is going to have two consequences, but the first is that the poles will warm much more than the equator. That is simply a consequence of the fact the equator is much warmer anyway, and the changes are less effective when something is already warm. So the melting of the polar caps and the warming of the polar regions, that is going to be much more obvious than variations in the warming of the tropical areas. But a general warming of the Earth means the oceans warm up and seawater evaporates more rapidly, and the amount of seawater that evaporates must be balanced in the end with the amount of rainfall that comes down. So globally, the amount of rainfall is going to increase. But of course, meteorology is a complicated thing, and not all areas are going to experience that. But globally, the effect of global warming will be to cause the total rainfall over the Earth to increase. And some areas will see that more effectively.
If you enjoyed this video or like connecting with great minds, like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next one.